Sonic Blast, not to be confused with Sonic 3D Blast, is commonly known as one of, if not the worst game to come out of the entire franchise. And that is saying a lot. On release, it was heavily criticized for having horrible visuals, terrible physics, rather slow gameplay, and downright unfun level design. And as a Sonic fan, this game sounds perfect! I've gotta know whether these claims hold true, cause in defense of Sonic Blast, people can be really mean. Seriously, how bad could this game possibly be? For those unaware of Blast's masterful storytelling, don't worry about it, I wasn't either. According to the translated Japanese manuals, which might I say have some really charming artwork, Sonic Blast takes place on South Island. While Sonic is taking a peaceful nap, the Chaos Emerald, the protector of the island, begins to spin and shine like never before. Suddenly, the gem bursts into 5 differently colored shards, which spread across the island in all sorts of directions. Dr. Eggman sees this and seizes the opportunity to take over the island and build his newest fortress, Silver Castle. Thinking he's won, he tells Sonic it's over and that he should give up. Then, out of nowhere, Knuckles shows up, and together with Sonic, they tell Eggman that they're gonna kick his fucking ass. So, I have a few questions. Firstly, why in the world is there one Chaos Emerald? And why is it the protector of South Island? Maybe it's a translation error? I don't know anyone fluent enough in Japanese to fact check this, but that doesn't answer the question of the one Chaos Emerald. There have always been at least 6, so to me it's a very weird decision to get rid of pretty much all of them. Also, why does it burst in the first place? There's no indication as to why it happened, it just sorta does. And finally, where the fuck did Knuckles come from? Shouldn't he be on Angel Island, you know, protecting the Master Emerald from Eggman? But okay, whatever. It's a story. It sets up what the player's doing in the game fine enough. Get the MacGuffins, stop Eggman from doing something fucked up. Cool. But it's gameplay that makes or breaks a game like this, and Blast controls about how you'd expect if you played a Sonic game before. Poorly. Of course, you can run, jump, spin, all that jazz, but there's a weird weight to it. Sonic just feels incredibly heavy to control. It's like they tied dumbbells to his shoes. Running feels like a half jogging speed here. Now, I can kinda understand why they made him slow. The Game Gear screen is very small. If they made Sonic much faster, the player would constantly run into hazards without time to react. So, it's too bad that the slowdown didn't actually help with that. His double jump, the Sonic Boost Blast, gets you decent height, but feels incredibly imprecise and uncontrollable. You have barely any air control, you just keep going once you're moving in a certain direction. Which, sure, it might be realistic, but it doesn't feel very good gameplay-wise. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is actually the move's first appearance outside of power-ups. Also, I didn't bother to play as Knuckles, but according to the wiki, he does have his glide. His Knuckles sliding attack. Sorry for the confusion. The levels, Green Hill, Yellow Desert, Red Volcano, Blue Marine, and Silver Castle Zone are all very generic and honestly not very memorable, with the few exceptions we'll get into later. They all have pretty common Sonic elements, loops, which for some reason don't work half the time, floating platforms, water, bullshit, you know, the normal Sonic goodness. The platforming generally isn't very interesting or fun, it was mostly just very generic. However, there'd occasionally be a little section that would actually test my skill and I'd have a slight sense of enjoyment. In every act besides the third, you'll find a hidden ring portal akin to those found in Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Mania. They'll take you to a special stage where you can either earn an extra life if you enter in Act 1, or a Chaos Emerald shard if you enter in Act 2. Now, I really considered looking up a guide and collecting everything for the true ending, but in all honesty, I can't be bothered to do this for Sonic Blast, especially after quickly glancing at all of this. It takes some serious dedication to write this much about Sonic Blast. I commend you. But also, I implore you to seek therapy or professional help as soon as you can. I think in total I actually found and reached 2 of the Emerald Special stages in my entire playthrough. The stages themselves weren't particularly difficult, but Sonic's side-to-side speed made it almost impossible to reach some of the necessary rings. It was very infuriating. On the topic of difficulty, this game can get fucking hard. Not due to the game's intended difficulty, but some sections are just fucking bullshit. Looping back to the exceptions and memorable levels, they're memorable because I suffered a pain I'll never forget. Blue Marine Zone, Act 1. You encounter a section where you need to make a very precise jump, and then perform some tight fucking platforming. If you mess any of this up at all, you get sucked into a long ass loop and have to attempt it all over again. This game has a ton of bullshit sections like this. Either they don't give you a clear direction on what to do or where to go and you die, or Sonic will get stuck in a wall and you lose all your rings. Oddly enough, every single boss in this game is piss easy. I only died once during any of these fights and it wasn't even due to the boss itself. I fucking drowned. None of the bosses actually follow where you're going and attack entirely on a script, at least as far as I'm aware. I didn't get the true final boss. Like I said, I can't be bothered collecting everything. In fact, these bosses were so easy, I had a worse time dealing with some of the common enemies. These little fucks in Silver Castle are the bane of my existence. They are my ops and I never wish to see them in a game ever again. I know you've been looking at them this whole video, but I had the bear playing with and editing them, so I'm going to discuss how terrible the visual design of this game is. They tried to make the characters sorta 3D like they did in 3D Blast, but due to the tiny resolution of the Game Gear screen, it doesn't look great. I understand that they probably wanted to seem more modern or something, but it just really did not work. That being said, it kind of grew on me. Yes, it sucks and is objectively ugly. I don't care that art is subjective. It looks fucking horrible, but I don't know, it's sort of charming in a way. I don't know how to describe it, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I will say, and I know this is the bare fucking minimum, but I was actually surprised that they included all the normal Sonic animations, like looking up and leaning on a ledge. Again, bare fucking minimum, but at least it's attention to detail. Outside the characters, the levels just look so boring. Where's that classic Sonic charm? The unique looking environments, the colorful backdrops and backgrounds. This wasn't a problem with the other Game Gear games. They managed to capture the feel. So what happened here? Who cooked? You? Shame on you. And now for the part you've all been waiting for. My thoughts on the most important part of any Sonic game. The music. And it's fine. It doesn't want to make me tear my fucking ears off, so that's good, I guess. I think honestly the composition for these songs are pretty good. The system itself just doesn't allow them to sound great. In fact, someone has actually remixed these songs so they sound like they're from the Genesis. Here's a comparison. So, after saving the day by collecting one Emerald Shard from the first level in the game and destroying Eggman's Silver Castle, or Death Egg, I guess, what can I say about this game? Well, I can confidently say that if you are considering giving this one a shot, you should probably be locked up in an asylum like I was. Seriously, do not play this game. It is not worth it. There is some stuff to enjoy, but it's very few and far between. Beating this game was not a satisfying experience, and I'm honestly glad I didn't even bother doing everything. And I already know some freaks are going to be in the comment section saying things like,
"Oh come on, you didn't even give the Knuckles run a chance."
Or,
"You know, you need to 100% the game to find the true enjoyment in it."
And you know what? Maybe I do. But I've been ranting about this for far too long, and Sonic Blast is gradually making me into a more violent person second by second, so instead of listening to me continue to talk, y'all should subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and watch more of my videos. And don't fucking play Sonic Blast whatever you do. This shit is like a brain-eating amoeba. You will slowly go mad as your brain rots away, so play something good like Sonic Free Riders instead. Thanks.